group of students gets trapped inside a mysterious cave where they discover that time passes differently than on the surface. That's why today, Time Trap. If you enjoy the videos, support the channel by liking, subscribing, and enabling notifications. It's free and really helps me keep growing. Now let's get started. Here we meet Hopper, a teacher who, for some reason we don't know yet, was looking for a van that disappeared in the 70s. While exploring a mountain with his dog, he finds it. But he also finds some interesting caves. Upon discovering the caves, he asks his student Jackie to pack a bag with supplies for a few days of exploration. And even though Hopper asked her to keep everything a secret, she tells her classmate Tyler about what Hopper wants to do. And then the boy insists that she let them go with him. After multiple refusals, they eventually allow him to go alone. He explores the caves, leaving his dog to guard the entrance. And there we see that in the cave, there's a very strange phenomenon where you can see a person as if they were frozen. And that's the last thing we know about the professor. After 2 days without any news from him, his students decide to go look for him. The only problem with this plan is that they need a vehicle that will allow them to go through the mountains. That's why their classmate is called Kara. She agrees, but they must go with her younger sister and her sister's weird friend. Beezus, a girl, documents everything during a trip for her school project. The boy gives each of them a camera to have more videos. We then discover the teacher's obsession with the caravan, which disappeared in the 70s, because the hippies who were in that van were looking for the fountain of eternal youth and suddenly disappeared. They follow the road and arrive at the location of the famous vehicle. They start checking it for any clues about Hopper and find several photographs where his parents appear. Does that mean that all this time his teacher was actually looking for his parents? The odd kid stumbles upon a rope leading to a cave. They resolve to descend a cliff within the cave. But since the boy is afraid of the insects inside, he stays outside on guard.
So, how will it be? 1 ring for yes, 2 rings for no, and 3 rings for I love you?
As they descend, they discover an invisible barrier where the air feels distinctly different and more humid. That's exactly the same barrier that the professor was going through, but in another cave. Before crossing the barrier, he saw a man standing there who started walking until attacked by someone. Hopper follows him until he hears the screams and tries to flee. The strangest part begins when he finally gets out, as it's already completely dark. And he wasn't inside the cave long enough for that to happen. He starts searching for his dog but can't find her. He goes to his parked truck and realizes the vehicle has deteriorated. He finds his student's shift, looking aged as if many years had passed. Despite his plans to leave, upon seeing Jackie's backpack, he prepares to return to the cave. Meanwhile, when the group reaches the bottom of the cave, they split up. After Jackie and the girl separate to explore independently, they begin hearing the same screams that Hopper heard. They immediately go to tell the others and start planning how they're going to climb up. As they begin climbing, someone cuts the rope, injuring Taylor and Jackie. Despite this situation, they try to stay calm. But then, when they try to contact the boy through a radio, he doesn't answer. They start to believe he cut the rope. They keep trying to communicate. Suddenly, another radio rings very close to them. They ask you, "Who is it?" and hear someone on the other side asking for help. When they ask him to tell them who the boy is, he says it's Furby, that is the weird kid. All the girls are very surprised, but Taylor doesn't think twice and goes to see what's going on. They start arguing because Bips wants to go with the boy, but her sister doesn't want a little girl to be in a dangerous place. In the end, they all decide to go except for Jackie, who twisted her ankle and can't move. The group walks until they notice light shining through a hole above them. And there they joke that it could be Furby playing with the flashlight. Kara climbs rocks to investigate, but what she finds is so terrifying that she asks Taylor to take the girl away. She keeps telling him not to let Viv get close, but Jackie doesn't listen and brings the camera closer to see what they're hiding. Unfortunately, it was Furby's body. They start coming up with theories about what could have happened, and they realize that someone cut the rope while he was going down. Since his camera wasn't damaged, they start reviewing the videos he had recorded. There they see that after half an hour, the boy started to get bored and explored the place a bit. And that's how he found Hopper's father's diary. He had written all the information about the Fountain of Youth in it. The legend originating from the natives claimed that the fountain's water supposedly cured all diseases. When his daughter fell ill, he set out to find the fountain to heal her. But most impressive of all, the boy spent several days in the car waiting for their return. Realizing they had told no one about their cave trip, he felt his sole choice was to descend and search for the key to escape. And that's when his accident happens and the recordings end. After watching the videos, they realize they have to do something before everyone ends up like the boy. And even though she doesn't want to, Kara volunteers to climb without using any rope and go get help. Before leaving, she asks Tyler if he knows anything about the lights and current events. He explains that while they're inside, days pass quickly on the surface, making it seem like the sun is moving rapidly. And even though that might make a little sense considering the whole situation, she just tells him that's nonsense and gets ready to climb. She effortlessly realizes something is amiss. The air feels odd and the surrounding trees have vanished. Despite all this, she goes out to look for help since Taylor had given her a global positioning system with which she can send a distress signal. The problem with this is that in the distance you can see some kind of sandstorm, and in the sky there's some kind of spaceship. She returns to the cave to share her discovery, but the others only believe her after seeing the camera recording. Oddly, Tyler was also recording, but only captured a few seconds. That proves his theory that time passes completely differently in there. And that makes them lose hope completely. But they'll continue seeking ways to escape. While searching the ground, Tyler found all the rope pieces Furby had. So now their new plan is to have Kara climb up again so they can all climb out that way. But while she's climbing, Pips is watching the videos of his friend again. And he realizes that the light they see isn't just a day passing, but an entire year. That's why everything is so different on the surface. Besides, that's probably what causes the ropes to break. This starts to distract Kara, but suddenly a ladder appears that they think is there to help them. But it turns out that some kind of giant alien starts coming down from it. They quickly move aside and a prehistoric man appears who tries to fight the alien, but the ladder puts a collar on him that leaves him motionless. He also grabs and crushes the ladder. Our protagonists start running and manage to lose him when they enter a cave. There they find Hopper's parents, who look exactly the same as they did 40 years ago, and they're also dead. Due to the temperature, they realize the death occurred just minutes ago while they were distracted, looking at them. They don't realize that 3 other prehistoric men are right in front of them. Taylor stays behind to fight, allowing the girls to escape and hide, but he loses his life in the process. Kara comes up with the idea to search for the boy and finds him lifeless. Upon seeing him, she freezes. At that moment, the alien appears again but simply ignores them and goes straight to a water source that's behind them. After gathering some liquid, he notices Taylor and grabs her, despite Kara's attempt to strike him. He revives him by taking him to the source as if by magic. The problem is that the Neanderthals also came back, but the alien has no problem fighting them and putting the collar on them. The only problem with all this is that during the fight they took off his helmet and without it he can't breathe. Before dying, he shows them that they've been looking for them for weeks. And then, as years passed, humans had to inhabit other planets, which is where this alien originates from. After his death, everyone is shocked, realizing that even if they escape, they can never return to their former lives. But Taylor is very sure that if he finds his teacher, he'll know what to do. And here they split up again, since Taylor asks the girls to go look for Forby. While he searches the area for Hopper, he finds him purely by chance, but he doesn't seem very happy to have been found. Because he was shot and is only minutes from death, but also because the reason his parents had entered in the first place was to cure his sister. They arrived too late. He found the source, but it's protected by a barrier that slows time inside it, and the girl is inside this barrier. Sailor keeps insisting that they should cross into the barrier so they can cure her. He explains that entering means they won't be able to exit. He's nearly dead already, and his friends are calling for him. The boy listens to him, leaves, but promises to return for him. The biggest problem is that on the way there are other Neanderthals who are clearly going to attack our protagonists. Even though they just put Furby in the water, they have no choice but to run away again. But this time they grab the stick that turns into a ladder so they can climb up to the surface. Do they manage to set up the ladder? But the light ceased moving and water replaced the sky. Kara keeps climbing, despite the risks. As soon as she touches the water, something begins to drag her. When Taylor tries to help her, the people below manage to take down the ladder, causing Taylor to fail to reach Kara, and she ends up being grabbed by what seems to be a sea beast. But it's okay because the first thing they do is put a mask on her so she can breathe. And through the water, they can see how they're frozen as they fall, and then some kind of ropes come out and grab them right before they hit the ground. Behind her comes Kara, completely changed, who tells them that she's going to take them one by one, but that they need to get ready and hold their breath. Jackie, the most worried, goes up last. Kara reassures her, saying they'll return for Hopper and Furby. And as soon as everyone is up, more of those tentacles come out and go straight to where the kids are. After that, we see Furby waking up in the water, and the first thing he sees is that he's in a spaceship. Hopper wakes up beside him as the group appears, revealing they rescued their teacher's family too. Despite no longer being on Earth, what matters is that they remain together, even though Hopper's dog's fate is overlooked. This was Time Trap. Remember to like, comment which other movies you want to see, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss upcoming videos.